What? No. They wouldn't.
All right.
So we're live, by the way. Hello, world. This is new.
Yes, it is.
We're starting this.
After some grumbling and position fixer-upping, we got it.
Yeah, so this is brand new. This is going to be a weekly thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
I hope.
Hopefully.
I might get tired of this by the time this episode's over, but...
Listen.
Do you want to introduce who's joining us in the middle?
Oh, Bronson, our lovely guest star.
Bronson, thank you for being here.
Bronson, yep. So, what this is, I thought it would be... So we've been recording podcasts, losing recordings of podcasts. And I thought it would be fun.
Tragic.
It is very tragic. I thought it would be super fun to actually do a live show. It's not something that's really done right now.
No, not really, but I think there's enough times where we are ranting, or we're out eating and ranting, or talking about Flesh and Bloodies and some other card games, and we just go, why aren't we recording right now? So we figured a live... Is it a live podcast?
That'd be good.
Okay,
yeah, like a live cast.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be really fun, and like, so going forward, we may even, like, you know, later on, and this won't just be Flesh and Blood. It'll primarily be Flesh and Blood. I mean, we have Flesh and Blood background. Both of us play Flesh and Blood. But really, it's going to be like a... just... I think eventually it's going to devolve into us talking.
Like, well, I think it'll split up into all the different things we're into. I mean, we're into video gaming, movies, and mainly card games. But we're also in spoiler season, or... I'm sorry, you just corrected me. We're not into spoiler season yet for Flesh and Blood Dynasty, but we've gotten, so what would you call them? Leaks or user previews? I mean, it's all content creators, right, that get this stuff? Yeah,
so it's been like introduced content creators, things like that. So specifically handpicked by LSS. They've gotten like a more handwritten letter, because like, I think in the past the spoiler content has been like kind of generic. That was like one of the things that I heard that some content creators who are privy to spoilers were saying, like, oh, you just get the card and a kind of like a thank you.
Yep.
And then now they got like this like full on FedEx like handwritten letter.
Was that the Emperor's?
Yeah.
The Emperor thing? Yeah, because I know Matt from Haven Games, Mr. Heffelfinger, got what was it? It was one of the Prism promos. Forgot the name of it, but he said you just got an envelope and then it had all the different play sets of those promos.
Yep.
There wasn't this decree from the great library of
dear sir.
Yeah, there wasn't all that. I would call it like role playing sort of stuff, lore. But that just means it's gotten better, so that's fine with me. And I think the lore is specific to the gear or the card that they got.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. It's not just like a copy paste of everything they've sent to everybody else. But
no, it's really cool, and it's really cool to see LSS take that on, be like different.
Yes,
you know, it's like a whole. It provides a little bit of flavor to it, right? So yeah, so I think this will be a really fun kind of thing to do every week, to where, and not only that, we can talk about. It's live, so we can also talk to the viewers once we have viewers. Currently have one right now.
Hey.
But yeah, so I'd love to answer questions. You know, maybe we even have segments where we're playing like this is very impromptu at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, we did what we could to get as much going as possible. And I think what's going to be really fun is when we get like, you know, we'll have segments. I think we could have like a new segment, start off the show, maybe something easy, just things that are going on in like in our world / TCG world. And then kind of just riff, and then maybe even like showcase some games, you know, maybe get some top-down action going. So.
No, we can definitely do that, especially with Grand Archive coming out, or if there's a new, I mean, like when Dynasty comes out, etc. We can definitely just go, hey, and we're going to show off some of the stuff, because at least say at the store, every day there's people that go, what's Grand Archive? And typically it comes down to like, oh, it's an anime card game with an amazing art and this, but I don't have too much to show them. So when we have our print and play decks, which we're getting soon, the custom ones you made, we can show that off.
Yeah, no, that's actually exactly what I'm talking about. So that being said, we started off like early on. We were like, oh, but we might get derailed or whatever. So, one thing we can do also is when we get more in the flow of things, we'll go desktop mode and we'll like talk about spoilers like in the moment. Because right now I can pull stuff up, but it won't pull up on the
okay.
on the
It's just for
podcast.
our,
Yeah, it would be for our viewing. So
Okay.
we can talk about things like so we can talk about pretty much everything we talked about in the podcast. So spoiler alert, I recorded a podcast with James last week on Friday. Currently, that is a lost episode. I have no idea what happened to it.
Let's not give up on finding it yet.
No.
But we'll see if
we'll see if it comes out. If anything, watch. I moved it to like a video editing folder or something. I don't know, like inadvertently, and like a year from now, 2 years from now, we'll have like the lost episodes.
Oh yeah, for $5.99 you can get special access to that.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure it'll pop up.
yeah,
somewhere.
because we definitely like recorded it. I saw it get recorded. I watched it. I edited some of it. I have no idea. What happened.
So, what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about some of the more recent Flesh and Blood?
Sure. You want to talk about spoilers?
Yeah, I was trying to recall the ones you and Ryan did, and I think the last one was
that
the Coronet.
So
is it called Coronet or
FaB? If you guys haven't, so we've been playing a lot of Talishar. FaB actually is probably one of the best places to see spoilers because they have it all like on one page. And so I'm just gonna pull those up now, and it's loading. Okay, so the first spoiler we got was Emperor, which whatever. We knew about that a long time ago.
Yeah.
The first one we saw was Rock, or at least the first one that's loading for me is Rock. So Rock, being a 3-cost attack action, says activate Rock only if you have no cards in hand. Damage cannot be prevented by Rock, and it attacks for 7, costs 3, and it's a brute weapon. And you know what the best part about Rock?
Tell me.
Its weapon type is Rock.
Is Unga Bunga? No,
It's
Rock.
literally Rock.
Oh, that means we're gonna have more rocks in the future, like boulders and.
But it'll be Boulder spelled like BOLDR, Boulder.
Brutes or whatever, man. So that thing does have like handles on it, right? Like a dumbbell or like a. Where is it? We were talking about
it. It does have handles on it. Yeah. No, it has little handles on it.
Oh, that's nice of that.
Yeah, look at
a little
that.
Convenience.
It's got a little face too. So I can like, as you're smashing someone with it, it's got little eyes on it.
Yeah, to put a little emotional attachment to it, that's fine. I know when this card got spoiled, I know a lot of people in your Discord were quickly trying to like figure out how to make it work, because I think it said like you can't have any resources.
You can't have any cards in hand.
No cards in hand. I guess you use Tunic to have a resource to activate it. Again, I have to like look at it again, but it does seem, I don't know. Other than the fact that it is a rock, it does have a very brute flavor to it because it's very like unsophisticated, I guess. Yeah. Because you have no cards, you're just like, I gotta reach for something. You unga bunga and grab it, and just. But I am, again, with every other card we've seen, maybe there will be more efficient ways to, or more options to get it activated and use it.
Yeah.
It seems very weird. Not that brutes use their weapon every turn, but to reliably use Rock every turn, it seems like it would be very wonky.
Yeah, it's definitely something that like I think a lot of people are pointing to, like having like you block with 2 cards, you pitch the last card and play like a 1 cost. You have 2 floating, then like use your Tunic resource. That's like probably like the easiest. Mm-hmm. But you need either the 1 cost thing has to be a go again card, or it has to be like you have to roll Scabskins or something to get like the extra action points. Yeah. So like how reliable that is,
I don't know. We'll and my I mean, I guess you can call it going the easy mode path or whatever, but in card games, I like things to be very consistent. Mm-hmm. And to have a weapon where it's like, well, if things pan out perfectly, then I can just use my weapon, which in this game, that shouldn't be a thing. You should reliably have access to your weapon. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, we'll see what else is in the set, or maybe they get a new common chess piece. What was the one that got banned?
Bloodshot Skeleton. Oh, no.
The strapper.
Not bark bone strapping. That's the one that's still legal. That's the one where you roll. It was
Heart something?
Heart and cross strap.
Oh, yeah.
Heart and cross strap. That was like a free 2. Like your next thing was discounted by 2.
Okay.
So not quite the same. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like there'll be another non-legend piece.
Or like specific to Brood or something. That's usually the easiest way they can do that kind of stuff is if they make it specific to a class. Mm-hmm. Then they can kind of silo it to where like, yeah, but can this class like really break it?
Right.
We'll have to see. So that was Rock. So we're off to a good start. What do you mean? You don't like Rock? So we have another bang. Are you ready?
Yeah, come on.
Season Savior. This is the Shield.
It sounds like a Christmas show or something like that.
I don't know how well this is going to come up because it's going to be my phone.
Oh, it's all right.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah, it looks amazing. But it says it's a 3-block shield, which like at first you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, we heard that when they spoiled it on the TV at the store, and we were like, wait a second, they don't need a 3-block. Like, but
then when you equip it, when you equip Season Savior, you put 2 -1 counters. So it starts at 1, and the idea is that you can repair it and make it a 3-block.
Yeah. So
how do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that? So the first thing is we were like, I'm trying to recall the card now. It's all right. First off, the S rarity that's now gone. Yes. What is the official term for that? Is it super rare?
It was a super rare.
All right, it's not like special rare, but either way, there is the blacksmith card. It's not called blacksmith, but there's a guy, and it repairs equipment. And we were like, this card has never seen play, so now stonks on this card. It's going to go from 6 cents to 25 cents because it repairs. It's a guardian. It's a guardian card, which is a guardian shield, and we were like, oh, that's how you fix it. But then they spoiled the card that actually does the repairing.
I guess I should keep this up. Yeah, so the card that I guess we can go into that. So that's Reinforced Steel, and that is all we have is the red version officially.
All right.
And so that's a block 3 Guardian action. Does not have Go Again notably, and it says remove a -1 counter from a Guardian offhand you control with 3 or less base power. And so obviously that goes hand in hand with the new shield, but more so what it goes hand in hand with is Stalagmite, and that's terrifying.
Yep.
I don't know how much more I want to have to deal with Stalagmite.
No, I hate anything with ice. Just to start out, I hate all the ice stuff.
Ding ding, time to go to the blacksmith.
Yeah. Oh my god. I will make that card work. I will do a whole roleplay session with Dorinthia, getting up, practicing, going to the blacksmith, sharpening steel. I'll make it work. I promise.
You'll make it work?
God, that card sucks. That card sucks. What is it? Blue gate +1 for your weapon. Ding ding, and then like.
Oh my god. I am just trying to get the background on here.
All right.
So it's a little bit easier to see, but
that's fine. And I get it. Like, I get that deck, the Dorinthia versus Rhinar. Is it even classified as a starter deck? Or
yeah. So it got its own like classification of like classic battles deck or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
But yeah, like so, I think I have it right here somewhere. Oh my god, where is it? Probably left it in the bathroom while I was reading it. Here we go.
Like reset. No, Nick's chat message went away.
Oh, okay.
I can do this.
But this little thing here, this is a collector's item. It's worth like $45. It has a good story in it for Dorinthia, which I was reading, and it has all that stuff. It's like she went to the blacksmith because there's that. Is it her mentor or I forgot her name? I don't think it's not Minerva. But
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. But anyways, it is cool seeing the cards played out from the story or whatever. But no, the card's terrible. I was, I just needed extra blues, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll play this and whatever. And I'm like, no, I'd rather play Titanium Bauble, which means it's not good at all. So
no, yeah, I mean, if you're playing Titanium Bauble
yeah.
over anything,
I think there's a certain charm to playing Titanium Bauble. trying to think what. Oh no, it's another card. It was in my binder. I've never seen anyone play it. There is a yellow 0 cost go again for weapons in that deck, and I'm trying to remember what it's called.
Yellow cost 0 go again. Is it run through?
No, it's not run through. It doesn't add damage. It doesn't cost anything. But it's just like your next sword attack just gets go again. And I was like, I've never seen anyone play this before. And if somehow, because you have a lot of options now, if you are still starving for go again, it's there. It's a guy in the middle of a battle holding a sword up, like straight up.
It also, like, it goes into another card that we can talk about eventually, which is the dagger. So if it's giving something go again, then it also gives the dagger go again, technically.
Yeah. I could not speak on the behalf of the Rhinar deck part of that, because every time I opened one of those for Glistening Steelblade, I threw it across the store and was like, whatever, but there are a lot of cards that I think, like Thrust, that people just ignored. They just went for Glistening. There is other playable cards in there. And I'm wondering, I've heard many different opinions on this. Do you think they're going to reprint some of these cards in foil? Or do you think there'll be promos at some point?
They have to eventually. I mean, we've seen other games. Yeah, I love the no invite. You know what, Evan? Maybe at some point we'll have headphones because we'll be like prepared.
Which one's Evan?
Emotion, yo. Don't laugh at that.
I was expecting like Lasagna Boy 69 or something like that, but like.
Wait, but what about the Alpha Rampage reprint?
Oh yeah, taking it from $5 to 5 cents. Yeah, pulling those now.
You're being generous at $5 for an Alpha Rampage.
Like back in the day,
was it? I mean, maybe like early on.
Like, so again, I don't play Brute, but I didn't think the card was like terrible. I thought, does it still see play or not really?
It does see play in Rhinar decks.
Okay.
I can't find this warrior card. Is it a warrior card? Is it generic?
I can run over, grab my binder, and go find it. Or if you want to pull up FaBDB and just put like yellow warrior. But that's all it says. It just gives your weapon go again for 0. And I was like,
all FaB cards? That is not true.
All FaB cards have tanked.
So it depends on what your definition of tanked is. Tanked as in relative to the market, then I would say no. Because everything's down.
I think the idea... All right, you're not getting $250 for every legend anymore.
No.
Fables are not $500 anymore. Like that's... But I don't think that was realistic. That was during...
That was not sustainable.
Stimulus checks and, the game was still new. But I still think compared to most card games... Actually, I would be pretty confident in challenging any card game. You can open a booster box and you'll get your value. Now... Yeah, don't pull like a Arcane Rising box, because that's a gamble. Mm-hmm. That's either Boots, Art of War, or Command and Conquer, or bust. But no, I think there's a like you open Welcome to Wraith, you have Enlightened Strike, which gets you like $25. Thank you, Mr. Heffelfinger. Cranial Crush is like $12. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think even like including like. If you do it like relative to the market,
yes,
overall, everything's down. Magic, FaB, Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally every card game is down. Mm-hmm. Can you please compare every card you talk about to an attack in Multiverses so I can understand?
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Oh, so if I guess Guardian is what? Iron Giant?
Yeah, because they suck. No, Guardian would be like Superman. A lot of grabs, nonsense, no skill to play.
Oh my god.
Do Guardians have capes?
Yeah. Star in the Show had one. Star in the Show had a cape.
That's why they banned him. So, What FaB card is Tom and Jerry? Hold on. Oh, that's a good question. What is like a very violent card? Something getting smashed.
Oh, I mean, there's Wrecker Romp. There's Wrecker Romp is him like beating a tiger into a pulp. There's
Alpha no, they do that in Tom and Jerry. Yeah. Okay, so Wrecker Romp. Yeah. Oh, Jamie, come on. Hold on. You can't say that anymore because you're on Briar, aren't you?
Ooh. Got him.
We're going to get that Marvel Rosetta Thorn at Worlds. Don't worry. Smash Instinct. Oh, yeah. Is that the one that they're just like splat all over the... There's one where they're literally just entrails.
I think that's Smash Instinct.
Which, speaking of which, kind of like how Tom and Jerry used to be very violent and amazing, I have the same feelings on Flesh and Blood's art.
Yep.
People are getting impaled, golf clubbed, like everything. And then we went to...
Scoot up.
Scoot up? You can hear me?
No, I can't see you.
Hold on. I'll fix this.
There we go.
That's fine. I didn't want to leave out our boy back there, but
yeah, he'll be fine. Good old Bronson.
But I think the first card I saw, this was the very first card I saw was, what's the kick that ninjas do?
Oh, blackout kick.
Yeah, and the dude's head is just just gone, and I was like, wow, this game's pretty intense. Like, it's very violent, and it's not hiding the fact. It's not like you see like a shadow, or actually the whole thing's a shadow, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, there's blood and all that.
Blackout kick. I mean, just from the first set, right? So we have blackout kick. Alpha Rampage is like he's like tearing a dude's like arm like off as he's like
a lot of the guardian cards. It's just people
disable and like. I mean, even crippling. Well, I guess crippling crush is just Bravo like being like, I'm Captain Planet.
Let's see. You haven't played Briar at Locals, sir. I saw. Oh, not at an armory. I did see you play against Josue. You're like coming in for 27 this turn, and that was against a FaB player, and you made him feel bad. So, and right after the match, you were like, I didn't know Briar was this good. And I was like, Jamie, come on. You know how good. You know how good she is.
Wasn't the words like, oh, I don't have to try as hard?
Right. This is like being on vacation. I will say, though, on that note, because we keep switching subjects, but I do think Briar is harder than FaB. I think you definitely get bad hands occasionally. You
have to pick your spots more. You have to be like, oh, this is a blocking hand. This is a attacking hand. Especially until... I mean, all that's true, and Evan, I agree. I wanna blackout kick Matt, but back to Briar. It's very tactful until Channel Mount Heroic hits the ground.
Yeah.
Once Channel Mount Heroic is on the field, you're like, I'm attacking you. Mm-hmm. Like, I need an attacking hand.
And the Briar player is usually giggling because they know all those triggers are going to go off as they're doing it. It's wild to me that they changed Blood Tribute. So... I didn't really understand that too much.
I don't think that's a censorship. I don't think that's a changed art. I don't.
You think it's just a different artistic
I think the
thing? Or?
Yeah, I think it was like an Easter egg or something fun for them to do. The reason I say that is because I think the lead time from like first and Unlimited being printed / being sent to the printer, I don't think there's enough time to do that. In like Unlimited came out like 3 weeks later in Monarch.
Well, yeah. But I also think like... I mean, I agree with you. It's just like you take cards such as Snag, where the dude's like face is getting ripped off.
Well, it's like the point is going through his eye.
Yeah. And they're like, we'll let it roll. And then, but like is she like a cultist or something?
She's like clawing her like eyes out or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But it's still like I don't think that's like whoa, we went too far. Like, so maybe it was just a different. Like a bonus for getting first edition rather than...
So I think it was more an Easter egg than anything. I will say, like, it does feel like Flesh and Blood art has kind of toned down, like, since... Maybe, like, Uprising doesn't... Like, what does Uprising have that's, like... violent?
I mean, Uprising has a ton of fire. Everything's being set on fire.
Everything's on fire. But you don't really see people on fire too much?
No, not really. I'm trying to think of, like... No, it's a lot. As far as the ninja cards, it's people running on rooftops, setting things up. I mean, it's the whole invasion thing that's going on.
They're starting like the Uprising or whatever, the rebellion.
Yeah, and I think in most of the Ice Wizard cards, they never show two people. It's usually her praying or casting like something.
Kamehameha bolts.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
There's no one getting impaled with like an icicle or...
Oh, Liquefy's a good one. Liquefy is... pretty brutal. It's like
he's in the armor. That's
and the dude's like melting.
Yeah. All right. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Good call, Evan. Yeah. Banger ass art. Too bad it's not a banger ass effect. Don't tell Josue I said that. He'll be upset.
No, he's quite happy with his. He has liquefied tunics. Snapdragon. Did he do that? It's mostly been tunics, but anywho, we were talking about rock, and then did we move on to the next spoiler?
Yeah, we were on shield, and then we were on reinforced.
Oh, the shield.
Steel.
I mean, just to quickly recap the shield, You were talking about stalagmite.
Yeah, stalagmite is.
That sounds way more appealing.
It's the way better target for reinforced steel than seasoned savior. Waning moon. What about waning moon? Get out of here! All right.
He just wants the value to go up because isn't it still at like 40?
I just bought one for $33.
What website?
We're gonna move on.
All right. So what was the next spoiler?
Hey, Evan. If you're serious about that, write the article, send it to me, and then I'll get it put up somewhere. I will make sure that gets put up. But yeah, definitely write that and send it to me. So, all right. So next spoiler, we have Blazing Yoroi. Oh, come on. It looks so cool, but it's like mid.
So I have a trash can in our kitchen and one in the garage. It can go in either of those. It's pretty flexible. What are your thoughts on the card?
In all seriousness, it's for the ninja mirror, like almost specifically. And I think what it does is you have to play it in the ninja mirror. Stop, you sorry, dead fighting. So you have to play in the ninja mirror. I think it's not very good in anything else because you'll have to. It won't be like even like it's face up, right? So like Briars will see it coming. It's worth 5 life on a piece of armor, which is good, but again, only at Chainlink 4. I don't think I've actually read the card. I'm sure everyone here knows what the card does, but this for the archives.
No, Evan, my trash can has that little footstep thing, so you got to watch out for that reaction.
So Blazing Yoroi is a ninja equipment.
Say it with that Japanese, that oomph.
Well, the R was a.
Did you roll the tongue?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Blazing Yoroi.
There, that was much better. Yeah.
Well, if I want to do that, then the blazon can't be blazon. It has to be like blazon.
Okay, that's fine.
Yoroi. And it's while Blazing Yoroi is defended on Chainlink 4 or higher, has +4 defense, and it starts with 1, and it has Blade Break. And no, I can't talk about Crouching Tiger yet because I have no idea what that does. I mean, we can guess when we get there.
So, it was a movie that came out around the Phantom.
So anyway, Blazing Yoroi is a chess piece that will be good in the Ninja Mirror. All right, specifically in the Ninja Mirror.
Do you think? Would you never play that against Runeblade? Do you think they won't get up to like a Chain 4, or is that a much more?
I think Zero Cost Briar used to do that way more often. I think she still can because of but it would be specifically like Channel Not Heroic and Force of Nature turns, and then you're giving up a power card. You're giving up like a chess piece that can like get you a really big like. How much is 5 block? Maybe some of the time.
Yeah.
Versus like an enabler for your combo, like on a big turn.
Yeah.
It's worth like so. I think to me like a maybe 5 block is worth less to me than like an enabler.
But you can can you only do that once? You just block
so the block it's a blade break, so it's gone.
Oh, okay.
It's a one-time thing. So that's where also the chess piece being enabler, I think also being a one-time. So something like Vest of the First Fist or Blossom of Spring or one of those just like, getting that extra resource out of nowhere, leading to that one of those like huge turns. I think that's more important than like a 5 block some of the time.
Okay. So, no, I agree. Do you think it would see more play in Blitz where like there's much fewer turns, so stopping that one attack?
Yeah. So I think the Blitz, especially FaB mirrors, what you're seeing already is that Blitz mirror or FaB Blitz mirrors are going to like turn 2.
Yep.
Yep. So I think this gets you to turn 3 or 4.
Which sounds silly, but that is a big deal and when a game's only 3-4 turns tops.
Yeah, so I mean, you're 2 aggro decks, right? So I think a lot of people are kind of sick of like the no block meta, but it's good to have aggro decks that are meant to be aggro decks as long as they have counterplay. And I think that's what we were seeing before, is that a lot of aggro decks didn't have counterplay. It was just like you just get demolished.
Right. And I also think that this was something I've talked to you about a lot, is that Uprising came out.
Yep.
People figured out FaB. I don't think, or maybe FaB's been like pretty much figured out, but people were like, it's super broken, it's stupid, it's gross. And then about a few weeks later, that stopped happening. You started having a lot more Oldhams, a lot more Icelanders, and things, I'm not saying it's completely balanced, but things did shift. This character was amazing, then this character was amazing, and it's good to have this constantly shifting or evolving hero selection that everyone's going for, so...
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
So, I mean, we'll move on. We're going to go to we're up to your favorite card.
Oh, the cream cheese spreader? What is it?
What? No, not yet.
Oh, dang it.
I mean, you could spread cream cheese with this thing, but it kind of would be terrible.
Oh, we're going to talk about this?
We're gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know which ones we were going over.
So we're going over all of it.
That's fine.
Year-to-date spoilers, because
Bye.
our conversation was lost. So I want your...
I don't think you do.
I think Merciless Battle Axe.
It's not very merciless to start off with. I love the art. Is that like a forge behind it, I think?
No. I mean, you're in like the palace or whatever, so I think it's more just on display and there's like lava in the background.
Right, okay. That's right. Yes.
Bronson haunting the stream.
So I definitely saw you and Ryan's video.
Yep.
Covered most of the bases. But as a warrior player, I definitely saw the spoiler. I saw the axe, and I've been asking for a two-handed axe for a long time.
Yep.
I originally was going to be like, I don't know, maybe like a 5 for 2 cost or something like that. I saw 3 for 3 cost. I threw my mouse across the room, kicked the cat. It didn't make sense to me at all, especially when you look at
But it has the new keyword overpower.
It should have the keyword trash can express train, because that's where
you don't know that yet.
No, I know it. Because how many support cards do we have for axes right now? 1. Okay. And it makes it even worse. Imagine having a support card that makes it like a waste. And the problem with axes, which hopefully we'll get axe support cards, and they better be pretty damn good. A lot of the cards don't even work on axes.
So let's go over Merciless Battle Axe and why you're so down on it.
Hey,
it's a 3 cost. It's already. And you say, what do I get? AJ, you may ask. What do I get for paying 3 resources on a weapon?
Do tell me.
You get a 3 attack weapon. It's 2-handed, so you can only wear...
I can feel a kidney stone forming right now.
And you get an effect.
Oh!
You get an effect.
Oh, slap my mom. What is it?
I'm not going to do that. Well, whenever Merciless Battle Axe attacks, if its attack is greater than twice its base,
so not
the attack
6.
gains overpower.
So not 6, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Has to be 7.
7. And you get overpower. What is overpower, you may ask?
What is
just
it?
Ask.
Yeah, no, I'm so upset.
This can't be defended by more than 1 action card. That's good.
Neat.
No.
All right, so here we go. Okay.
Okay.
I told you there is that Monarch warrior card that adds 3, and if they block with an action card, it gets +1.
Yep. There
is an issue with that, which is the way the turn order goes, or I don't know how you would phrase that, but the way the phases go.
Okay.
You would buff it, and by the time they block, you're not getting the +1 damage bonus.
Correct.
So you're not even getting the overpower effect.
Okay.
So that's kind of worthless.
Correct.
My biggest thing is
we're off to a good start.
Oh yeah. But I just cannot imagine a world where it's like, I'm glad I played this. Like, I'm getting a play that I couldn't get otherwise.
And Ryan, we'll have you on for Rock at some point in the future. I'm sure you probably missed the beginning, but we want to do some gameplay too. So
yeah,
there'll be gameplay days, and maybe we'll have like, kind of like Tulane Community College. He does like where he's like watching two people play and kind of commentating like live, things like that. And you can do a lot of fun things. But anyway, back to Merciless Battle Axe being not so bueno.
See, Nick just said it all. I can't imagine where you're like, it's a good thing I picked this over Dawnblade, which is 3-4-1.
It's just, and I know we've said it so many times with so many cards, and it's been true. It's been both true and not true, depending on the card. But like, there has to be an idea, a design, something coming or in this set, or a hero that can use it. Just something. It just doesn't make any sense because the card looks like.
So
I will be honest, at face value with the current card pool, this card is ass.
No, it's very.
This card is not.
I'll tell you this: it's very disappointing because you know how much I've been dying for new Warrior stuff.
Yep.
And the problem is the problem with what was it, Everfest, was that they added a ton of Warrior cards, and they added a ton of good Warrior cards, but it caters very specifically to Kasai, because I don't think you're playing Twin Sabers with Dorinthia and CC.
Right.
So it's like, oh, these cards are amazing, but like, are you actually using them in CC, which is a format at least we play more often than normal.
We play a lot of CC in Orlando.
And it's like, it caters to a very specific talent or play style, whereas normal Dorinthia Warrior, she got nothing, and then she got Glistening Steelblade and a couple run through and a couple other good cards. But like, seeing the axe, like, I can't even imagine them cramming enough Warrior specific cards to support it, because they have how many other classes in a supplement set? So far, every expansion set has been every class gets something. Yeah, so it's going to be tough. Now, here's the thing. The worst thing, or not the worst thing, but like, I'm expecting nothing. So if they get good stuff, that's going to be fantastic.
Yep.
The issue is, which kind of involves what I was just talking about with the Everfest Warrior cards. They were like, here, you get this dump truck axe, and you don't know how it's going to work. By the way, there's an armory kit coming out with a knife that will use all the cards that Everfest was giving. You know, all these, what is it? Is it Blade Runner? Or is that the name of the card?
Yeah.
Give it go again and +3.
Yeah. The next attack is +3. Blade Runner is a very good card.
There was that Team Covenant promo with the Warrior with the go figure an axe.
Swing something.
Swing
big.
Oh, Swing Big?
Okay. No. Swing Big's the brute card. It's
but
in
it's
the swing. In the swing.
Yeah. In the swing. And it's 3 for 0. It's all these cards that I'm going to be using with the dagger. And then you're like, but meanwhile, they introduced this axe, and it's like...
And by the way, in Classic Faction, it looks awesome.
Yes.
It looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
Especially the Marvel. I'm excited to pull the Marvels. I'm really interested to see like how they'll do.
Well, if they're anything like the Dragons, I'm going to be excited.
But they're not. So. That's kind of like the weird thing. Is like if they're all just majestic equipment. So like the Dragons, right? The big three were like trying to read chat and not crack up, but like Ryan, when we were like ranting, first of all, Nick was like, "Why are they spoiling half a card every 4 days?" Well, the answer to that is we're not truly in spoiler season. This is supposed to be like hype moments. It's not a fun answer or whatever. That's the truth. Ryan, we were talking about how not good the axis is going to like go up from here, and I was like, I don't know if that's true. I think it can definitely like, get worse.
Yeah, and the whole thing I've heard, I don't know if Nick's joking, but I've heard it a ton, is they're like, no, they'll introduce a hero that's like, it could be like a Berserker warrior or something, and it's like, when he uses two-handed axes, like, you get all this crazy stuff, but then you know he's going to be a Blitz hero, and that doesn't mean...
You don't know that.
You don't think so?
Star of the show.
You think they're going to do that again?
So we know they're going to do versions of it. James White already.
I don't mean like talents on existing heroes. Yeah. I mean, do you think they're gonna repeat introducing a CC character in a supplement set?
I think we're getting one in this set. I would put money on it.
How much? Tree Fitty.
We need like most podcasts because I think like gambling is like against Twitch TOS. So you have to
all right.
So you have to like we have to bet like things that are fun.
I hate those things.
You hate fun like donuts?
Yeah.
You can bet donuts.
Chipotle?
Bet Chipotle.
Get you like 10 bowls.
I eat that every week.
So I'll say this. There are 2 Blitz heroes so far. Do you think we'll get 2 CC heroes or 2 more, or 1 more Blitz and then...
Oh, Ryan said you're firstborn.
All right, Vincent.
I don't have a firstborn. What were you saying?
It's not important. Nick said 16 battle axes. No. Do you think... So I'm going to guess there's going to be 4 heroes that they're introducing.
So, yeah.
Oh, no. Wait a second.
What?
Wait, it's the Emperor and... Dude, Yoji
is... Yoji.
Oh, my God.
Yoji.
He's not even a Draconic Guardian, is he?
No. So,
nope.
here's like... He's
Walmart Guardian.
We have Guardian at home.
Oh, Great Value Guardian. GVG.
So here's my issue with Yoji, and it's really simple. I really wish he could target himself, and I know that sounds silly, but at least he would like have a point in a 1v1 game, like his hero ability. Yes. So in 1v1 right now, his hero ability does nothing other than kill yourself. There's fun things you can do where you can OTK yourself with a pulverize.
Great.
Like directing it to yourself.
When we go to Worlds and I'm trying to get tickets in Blitz, I hope someone employs that. I learned this new tactic.
But what I'm saying is I wish he could target himself so that like it is cool that he can prevent any kind of damage. So like something like a reckless swing, it would be kind of interesting to where like he could pay 3 and prevent 1 of it. Right, like I mean, it's not good. It's not game breaking, but it's not literally a blank hero card in a 1v1 game, which he is right now.
Yes, I agree. I think the reason it bothers me is, and I have no idea how true or this is, but it's resources and time that the company's putting into characters, and characters make the game.
Yep. I mean,
instead
that was why we both, I think,
yes,
got into different times.
That's what got me into the game.
Yeah.
And you have characters like the merchants and this and Yoji, and they just keep saying, "Oh no!" Like further down the line, like they're going to be amazing in this PvE team format. Or yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're going to have like a party of.
So here's my rebuttal to that. I think it's very simple. I don't think they built Yoji or even the merchants specifically with PvE in mind. I think they specifically built them with multiplayer in mind. So like UPF.
All right, I have a
go
quick
ahead.
Question. Just one itty bitty.
Sure.
How would you react?
Here we go.
Hold on. If LSS releases an article for the new competitive season, and they're like, now Ultimate Pit Fight is required. You know how...
I would lose my mind.
But in a good way, or...
No, not in a good way. But that's not the point. My point is that, the cards being released today are usable in formats that do exist now. Whether or not those are popular or our community cares about them or whatever, I think there are small communities, like UPF events do fire at these big regional or callings, and there are people who care about UPF. There are people who care about, maybe in the future, I think this game lends itself very well to a 2v2 format. And then Yoji suddenly could be very good in that format.
Okay.
So I'm just saying that I think never, all right? It can never happen. There will never be a UPF con.
But do you think they should be, there's a legend for the merchant?
Right, Silver Palms.
Do you find that aggravating at all? That that doesn't contribute? I mean, that's such a small.
I get the frustration. I get you're opening a set, you pull a legend, which funny enough, that legend is worth more than a lot of legends in Uprising. But you pull a legend, and it's not good in CC. It's clearly not designed for or not even just CC, but Blitz. Let's say Blitz because Blitz is now competitive.
Part of the thing. Yeah.
It's not good in either format, and you're wondering, why is this a legendary? This ate up my legendary slot. And to that I say, I don't really know what to say to that other than, that could have just been a rare. and then you would never have thought about it.
Oh, it should have been a token. Give it to everybody.
But like, I guess to me, it's like if you don't care about it, just sell it, and you can still sell it for like a decent amount. Like it's not crazy, but it's half a box basically of Everfest.
Well, when Everfest Unlimited comes out,
listen, there's a whole world of issues with Everfest Unlimited. I think they need to just like. I love LSS. I'm an LSS apologist. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fanboy of the game. They need to put LSS on a boat. No, not that kind of boat. I'm talking about those like Viking funeral boats.
Oh, the pyres,
push it out to sea and just like with a fire arrow and just let it have its funeral.
I'm curious if it exists though. You could find it on distributor pages.
I would put money on it that it exists.
I mean, they printed enough in advance that they. Yeah, maybe they just didn't plan it out right.
LSS does own boats, according to Yazi.
Well,
can you describe how to effectively use cash out in the next format? You equip the gold crown, and then you have one cash out, and then you're like, oh, look,
I did it!
My free gold token.
Stonks!
Pot of greed?
Yeah, there you go.
That's how you use it effectively. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I say? But you're welcome. I don't know the words. Anyway, all right, so... what are we going off to next? Hanabi Blaster? Want to talk about some gun action?
See, that's a good spoiler.
This is probably, honestly, like, MVP so far.
Yeah,
I think this thing is, whether or not it ends up being good or whatever, subscribe, thank you. Yeah, that's why you're a mod, right? You ask the important questions.
Are we not making any money off him?
I don't know. I haven't seen, it doesn't say he subbed. Seems sus to me.
Dude owes me a Coke the next time he comes to the Haven. All right. But yeah, the...
Hanabi Blaster. So it is a gun. It attacks for 5. It has a once per turn action. Remove 2 steam counters from Hanabi Blaster to attack with it. It has overpower natively. Why the axe couldn't, I don't know.
Right, it doesn't trigger. It
just has overpower.
Okay.
And it says the third time you play a card with boost each turn. Notably, it doesn't say the third time you boost each card. Mm-hmm. Or you don't have to boost. You just have to play a card with boost. You put a steam counter.
Wait, hold on. You don't have to boost, flip a card, and do all that?
No.
Just has to have it?
Just has to have it. Just has to have it.
That's crazy.
No,
all right, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
So yeah, and then I think it's worth noting that while we're talking about this, we should talk about powder keg,
right?
Because it goes hand in hand.
Which now is just a blue.
I think it goes hand in hand. So it says whenever a mechanologist gun you control hits, you may destroy powder keg and a defending equipment, and so I think the gun helps with that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The fact that. So I know not every mechanologist is playing Boost. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very popular, but it just natively goes along so well with that deck. I don't think you have to make too many changes. You're just boosting like crazy anyway. And now you have this Harambe banger weapon that you can just blast someone for 5.
Yeah,
was it 5? Okay.
5.
And right, you don't do it every turn.
You do it every other turn mostly.
Yeah.
If you're going full boost dash.
So yeah. I'm gonna help him out. Real quick.
Yeah, of course. And I will entertain the masses.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hanabi Blaster, I think with the powder keg, I think it's good, and I think compared to a lot of the other spoilers that we have, I think that it will do something to where you have to be careful. So a lot of times when you T-bone or something, when you T-bone, you will see that the defending player will put up something like a 0 block that doesn't break. So something like Crown of Seeds, something like Null Rune or something. Not that they would put up Null Rune. They wouldn't have Null Rune, but Crown of Seeds or Snapdragon Scaler, something with 0 block, Goliath Gauntlet that doesn't break. And Hanabi Blaster being on the field makes them less likely to want to do that. So you'll T-bone and then maybe T-bone something else, and then that forces them to block. And then, of course, you Hanabi Blaster them, and if they don't have an extra piece of armor or defense reaction, it can be very difficult to fully block Hanabi Blaster. And they break an equipment.
Yep.
That's all. I explained Hanabi Blaster. I think it's good.
Yes. Obviously, I think Ryan mentioned it. It's not the pistol is a pistol. It's not a gun, as weird as that sounds. So with the other card they spoiled, you can't combo it with the pistol, but I don't know. I think everyone's going to be at least attempting to run this gun when the set comes out. Now the thing is, if you have the gun out, your opponent does know you are aggroing like crazy.
Yeah.
Unless there's new mechanologist cards that change that, or you're playing some hybrid build, which is possible, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, you want to shoot people in the face for 5. That's the point. So
I mean, it is face up. Mm-hmm. Right, so it's face up on the field. They know you have it. And also your powder keg, right? Powder keg is what it's called, I think.
yes.
Yeah, powder keg will also be face up. So they'll know it. They can see it coming. They can plan. Pistols are not guns. They're... Okay, well. Yeah, you try that.
I guess.
Let's move right on. I think it's good. Hanabi Blaster.
Yes.
A-.
I think it's great, but it is not broken. It is not Rosetta Thorn.
Good design.
Yes.
Also to note, attacking with it is free in the sense of resources.
Yeah, you just have to
Have
play.
the
You have to cater to it.
Yeah, but it's like you just go pew.
Yep.
Pew. All right. I don't even. Do you want to talk about the bow?
No.
I don't think there's anything to talk about yet until we know what aim counters.
So bows are weapons for cowards. So we can move on.
No, I will not accept that. That's
right.
my favorite weapon
Hold on.
type in all of fantasy.
Just hit counterpoint accepted. What do you think? Do you think there's honor in hiding in a tree and pinging someone in the head?
Listen, not every bow and arrow user is hiding. There's people who stand on the battlefield.
Oh, that's because they have 2 WoW hunter pets. Look, my brother had two hunter pets. One of them was a raptor called 6-foot Turkey, and the other one was Magilla Gorilla, who would thunderclap. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. You laugh, you lose.
Nope. I don't lose. I win.
And he would just stand in the middle of Warsong Gulch and just throw animals at you. I suppose that's
So I guess we talked about bows long enough that I guess I should talk about the bow.
Yep.
Sandscour Great Bow, which, again, like every other card in this set so far, I mean, it looks awesome.
Oh, it looks very cool.
It looks very cool.
So you, just real quick, you were kind of talking about it earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing it's called the Throne Room. I don't know if they've actually shown, which I think will be the Fable. But
Not
it's,
yet.
But it's the Emperor's, like...
It's kind of the background. So if I hide our webcam for a second, I mean, that's what you're talking about, right?
So what I'm guessing is that all these weapons, because they have a similar art to them, is it supposed to be like an armory or like
So I think what I understood it as they have like it's like spoils of war. So it's like the throne room. They have a bunch of. It's not an armory. It's like things they've collected from their conquests.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
like a showcase of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's
so
cool.
the Sandscour Great Bow. I mean, it really is not good until we know what a name counter is. So basically, for one resource, you look at the top card of your deck, you put an arrow from your hand or the top of your deck face up into your arsenal. Go again. Whenever arrow is put face up in arsenal from your deck, put an aim counter on it. So a lot of people are saying it's a +1 because you can take the arrow off the top of your deck, so you're not losing the card in hand like you would from a normal attack. The only thing I'll say to that is Death Dealer does that easier, I think, and also draws you a card, and the card's in your hand now, so you can pitch it, you can play it.
Yep. And it's... Now, didn't a LSS employee say something about aim counters?
So
I thought they tweeted
so they didn't tweet it. So I'm a part of the judge Discord because I'm an L1. Woo.
Well done.
So I'm in the judge Discord, and basically someone asked like, can you at least? Someone was like, hey, Moonlight Solace, which is like his real name's Josh, and he's the head judge or whatever. He's like the big rules.
Oh, that's
guy.
his handle or whatever.
Yeah, Moonlight Solace is his Discord handle. So. They said, tell me what it is or else, like as a joke. And he's like, just basically said that aim counters do not do anything on their own. They are more like Steam counters for mechanologists. So it'll be like they interact somehow with other things in a way. It's like they don't do anything. It's not like a rune chant where like a rune chant has an effect on its own.
Okay, do you think that maybe aim counters will deal with like an attack reaction where it's like you're aiming, so having aim counters will boost another card? Or something like that?
If I had to guess, what I think aim counters will do is I think aim counters will. There will be cards that say like deal. Your arrow fired with an aim counter has dominate. Your next arrow, or like it could be like an aura or something like that. I hope they reveal nothing for aim counters, and it just is. It's just like you fire the arrow, and you're like, by the way, it has an aim counter on it. Your opponent's like, what does it do? It just has an aim counter on it, man. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think there will be
screw with new players, I guess.
I think there will be other cards that you play them down like non-attack actions or auras or something along those lines, and it'll say like the next or arrows you fire with aim counters have like plus X damage, dominate, overpower, something like that.
Yep.
So I mean that's honestly what I think they're gonna do with it. But who knows? We won't know until maybe like November 1st, October 31st, when we get a lot of spoilers.
And a lot of people said that this bow definitely caters more to Azalea than Lexi.
Yeah, I mean if you're Lexi, you're playing Voltaire. There's no world where you're not playing Voltaire. Voltaire was literally made for Lexi. I mean, that card is so good, and it goes with New Horizon, and yeah, there's no world where I see Lex, unless aim counters are just busted beyond belief somehow.
Yeah.
There's just no world where you play this over that.
Completely agree.
All right, moving on. Bo is whatever right now.
TBD.
We get to talk about your favorite card, your second favorite card. That's not actually your favorite card, so I'm trolling you.
All right.
It's a Amethyst Tiara. So Amethyst Tiara is a rune blade headpiece. It blocks for 1 with Blade Break. It has an instant. It says destroy Amethyst Tiara. Rune chance you control off Spell Void 1. I don't think this is very good. I'm gonna be flat out. I think you don't ever have like enough rune chance to where like it matters. I think you're usually blowing your rune chance. I think you have to be very like the wizard player, if they're smart, can play around them. Rune chance, when you attack, they're separate layers on a chain, so they can wait till enough of those resolve before they like go in.
Yes.
I think if anything, I actually think it's for the mirror more than it is for wizards. And maybe then it's good. I don't know. I honestly don't. I think Crown of Providence is probably better in most situations, just because it blocks and it fixes your hand. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm not big on it.
It does seem, and I think it was Nick who was the one who originally responded to how to use this. But it does seem like every time someone's like, "Oh, this is how you use the tiara," it is like.
Is that true?
What?
He said if you have Runeblade Barrier out and break Tiara, your rune chance stop damage but don't pop. Is that true? I have to read Runeblade Barrier.
Okay. What I was saying was just that all the plans to use it are super convoluted, and I'm just wondering if it's worth jumping through all these hoops and to use the headpiece just for that. It was interesting that you said maybe use in the mirror, because so far...
Oh, that's not true at all. Yeah, I was like, I'm reading Runeblade Barrier.
We appreciate your time in doing that.
I was like...
But like you were talking about the ninja chess piece is great against in the mirror. The Runeblade, or maybe this piece is good for the mirror. I don't know if we're going to see more pieces like that. I don't think that's like a problem in the game. That's dire need of fixing, but
it's an interesting piece. I'll say that.
Yeah.
The one thing, another reason I say it's for the mirror is you can also block with it while it's still on the chain against the rune blade. If they're also coming in for arcane, somehow like later, you can pop it. But then again, all the rune blade has to do is break the chain before they do that. So
my only other thing would be is that again, and whatever. If there's a PvE set, maybe if you're fighting against like a wizard NPC or something, and you don't have Yoji, you can have like a Dark Knight tank, anti-magic tank or something.
You're not.
But
I'm sorry.
What?
It's just like you bring up PvE seriously. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well,
I think it'll be fun.
The fact I think it's the fact that and I forgot what the event was, but James White like was asked about it, and he was very like, "No, this is happening.
Yeah. No, it's coming.
We want to make it very good. It's not going to be like like Ultimate Pit Fight could be fun, or
I want to try it.
Yeah,
we just have to get enough people in our play group.
But I don't think they're going to release like a box set for that to cater to it or something. It sounded like PvE was going to get an actual support thing going with it. And another thing with PvE, which like I'm not over the moon about PvE, but I also think you will get a lot of players that normally wouldn't play Flesh and Blood, but they're like, no, we'll just play against like the quote AI.
Yeah.
And then they might be like, well, like now that I know how to play the game, would you call it PvP or something like PvP, what is that like?
That's a good point.
So, I don't know.
Want to move on?
Sure. Oh, but I love how the art looks on it.
Oh yeah, it's like I will say this for every card that we have talked about. I think just looking back, even Rock, it's funny, but it looks good.
Yeah,
all of it looks good. So the last weapon we have so far.
Is that it? Yeah, I guess so.
Is Surgeon Aethertide. So Surgeon Aethertide is a wizard staff, two-handed. It's a 2-resource action. That's very important. So all these staffs we've seen so far have been instants.
Oh yeah.
So this says, for 2 resources, deal 1 arcane damage to an opposing hero. Go again. The first card you play each turn with an arcane damage effect instead deals that much arcane damage plus X, where X is damage dealt by this weapon this turn.
So I would assume it not being an instant, which is like Wizard's whole gimmick for the most part, that kind of
definitely hampers it a little bit. I think between this, not Waning Moon, the other one, Kraken's Aether Vein, where it's like do something based on how much this has done, we have to see some kind of weapon increase, arcane spell thing. I think we have to.
What is the I'm sorry, I forgot. What is the wizard card that is in this month's armory?
Oh, I don't know the name of it. It's like Blessing of Aether. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah.
Does that combo pretty well with this weapon?
No. So Blessing of Aether says at the start of your turn, destroy Blessing of Aether. Then the next card, if you play this turn, has an arcane damage effect. Instead, deals that much plus 3. So while it kind of does, but it doesn't buff the weapon. So it will just go on to.
Okay.
So yes, you'll have like the plus 3 from the Blessing of Aether if it's red, and then the plus 1 from the staff if they let it hit. But I don't think you'll have. There's no like compounding.
Oh, okay.
So like it's just another buff. The one thing this does, which I have seen people talk about, is that it gets a card out of their hand earlier. How much that matters, I don't know. It could be a good bluff card, because like maybe like before you come in with like you activate Crucible of Aether. It does nothing on its own, right? It just says your next one's plus 1.
Right.
So nothing's happened yet to them. They're not getting cards out of their hand or anything. And then you hit them with like a not so good spell. I don't know. Let's say like a blue Ice Bolt or something, or Frost Bolt, and they're like, I'll just take that. Like, oh, that's 2 damage. Whereas this, it could still be the same exact play. It could be like 1 damage, but now they're like, oh, I don't know what the next thing coming is, so maybe I'll give up a card that I wouldn't have before seeing the spell come through.
Right.
And so now they're down a card, and maybe you just arsenal the card if they do block it, or you do play it if they don't. And it gives you that kind of play.
Yeah, it's just like whenever I play against Wizards and they use Waning Moon, like at the end of my turn.
It's also hard to get over Waning Moon being so good.
Right. So, just along with like most of the other cards, we'll see if there's other Wizard cards. This one, I don't know. Again, with the way Waning Moon works, now is it just Wizard or is it? Is there an element to it, or
it's just Wizard?
Okay.
So we haven't seen, as far as I know, other than the Emperor himself being Draconic, nothing so far has been talented.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing so far. I think we're gonna talk about one more spoiler, and then maybe just kind of
That's fine.
shoot around after that, like a little talk about something else.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for that. I was just gonna add real quick. I don't know if you've heard anything, but I do know that was at the last calling or something. They had like an artist booth where they had artist proofs, and
I know
there
what
was
you're
like
talking
a
about.
wizard sword.
Let me see if I can find it.
Or
I know
actually-
Fluke and Box is the one who posted it.
Yeah.
Fluke.
Or it wasn't wizards. It was like emperors.
No, it was
sword or something.
so it was one of the artists. He had a bunch of sketches. It's gonna be. Let me see if it's in media. All the weapons are just hints to more things. I totally believe that.
Maybe that's why they sent him out first.
Yeah,
rather than
absolutely.
later, yeah, maybe.
So scrolling. He posted it a while ago. I have to get through some stuff, but yeah, I know it was an artist proof. It had things like Tamaltai's heart.
Yes.
Like weird things like that, but he tried to ask about it, and I think the artist was like, no, I just did this for fun. So whether or not he has to like keep it close to the chest, or I mean,
Well,
I
Tamaltai's heart would be kind of close to your chest. But,
So I found one of them.
Yeah.
It's Typanis' scepter. So that's the judge promo is Typanis. So that's one of them.
right.
So, and I think that's Federico did those. Here's a bunch of them. So yeah, he had Asvali's crystals, Emperor's sword, Tamaltai's heart, and Lexi's boots. And they're all like sketches. It's probably not going to come up super good on here.
I mean, you can find them on
Yeah,
Twitter
so
and
Fluke and
whatever,
Box's
but-
Twitter page. But anyway, so there's a part of me that also says like it probably is a nothing burger, and the reason I say that is just because like let's say those are cards.
Okay.
Would like LSS want that out there so early? Like, I don't know.
Well, it gets you.
Like,
It's yeah. I mean, it could be nothing. It does get people to talk about it, like we're talking about it right now.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't have like any flavor text or anything on them, right? Because I was gonna say
there's nothing like that. It just says Pro Tour Lille 2022.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I know we're probably about to talk about the dagger.
Yeah, that's the last one I was gonna talk about.
But I am very curious if there is going to be a new one-handed sword, so we're not forced into Centauri Saber.
Yeah.
Because other than Raiden, which is light specific,
It is light specific.
that's like the only one-handed sword option.
Yep.
So
looking
I
for
keep thinking
waterproof.
about that sword, but then again, if it's the Emperor's, it'd probably like Draconic, or I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it. I just remembered that.
The one thing I will say too, to compound on that, I guess this whole conversation
Yeah.
is James White did say that like I think someone asked about dragons or something, and he said like there are dragons hiding in this set or something like that. I don't know.
that's
So
right. Yeah.
we haven't seen a single talented card outside of a hero in an expansion set yet that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
At least if we have, it's been very little to nothing. And I'm ready for it. Let's get some more light cards. Let's get some more shadow cards. Let's get some more. Hey, thanks for the follow. Thank you. This is something new we're doing. So it's cool to see.
I was trying to say the name, but
Yeah,
then I saw Tails, and I
MH wags the fluff. I don't know.
I'll take it.
Monster Hunter wags the fluff.
Monster. Okay. I don't know. But I appreciate.
But we really appreciate
stuff.
it. Thank you so much.
And I also got distracted. I'm sorry, by Ryan saying water brute, and I just pictured a giant battle toad.
Whenever Ryan talks about Water Brute, I always link him the picture of it's a skin in Heroes of the Storm of Diablo as a Murloc.
Oh yeah. With the
yeah, the like dangly thing.
yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, I just want to see more talented cards. In expansion sets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're ready for it.
I think some are, as Nick can attest to, I think some are long overdue.
I think this is gonna sound spoiled, but I think Dromai's overdue.
For Drum? Oh, okay.
Dromai, like we've talked about it a lot in our group, but I think Dromai just feels like something's missing. It's just like something's missing. Like it just doesn't feel like.
I think she's a very cool character,
100%.
and I know most Dromai players are like, no one cares if she's cool. I want to like be able to do a lot of crazy stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe what we can do is, because it's funny you were talking about a Fluke. What's his name? Fluke
and box. Fluke.
When
Goes by
when
Fluke.
we finish talking about this next card, we can do a tier list or a funsies tier
Oh,
list.
I loved his video.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
like just the thumbnail got enough for our Discord
Yes.
to get going. They were
Yeah.
like, "Your tier list sucks." It's like, yes.
Yeah,
He won't
Yeah,
call
yeah.
him out. I don't know if I'll call him out just yet. But yeah, the tier lists I have seen are just
Yeah,
it's.
I won't go by name because whatever.
Yeah,
like
I'm
I'm
not
joking
trying to
around,
stir
but
the
I'm
pot.
not being. I'm not going to be rude.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, let's bring up.
Hold on. No, we're talking about the tier list, and I do want to say
Yeah. All right.
the one thing that I think, and this was his point too, if I watched the video correctly and understood his point.
Yep.
I'm sick of seeing tier lists where they're like, I've never played this hero, I've never played against this hero, but I don't really see her doing anything, so it's C tier. You have no idea. What are you doing grading this hero?
We'll rip into that. I hate this so much.
This is what he's doing. He can't put it down. He's just like flipping
Her
through
face is not.
Just like flipping through this
Look,
stupid lore.
I don't know who the artist was, and I'm sure they've done many other amazing pictures, but her face looks a bit like Meshuggah in that
What are
singing
you talking
steel blade.
about? This is great art.
No.
So anyway, don't make a tier list if you've never played against the hero.
Please,
Or at least when you make the tier list, make another.
Or put more context where it's like, in my opinion, or like based on.
Or I was saying make another bracket where it's like, I don't know. I've never played it, never played against it, haven't seen it, and maybe that's what you should do. I don't know. I think brute tier placement depends on how well they roll. Well, yeah, brutes are either the most broken or the dumbest hero ever made.
But even with brutes, I would definitely cater some of the tier where they're placed on that.
Yep.
But I also think you see certain brute players that understand the deck and they take advantage of certain matchups and they just wreck them. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really want to go into that, but not sure when you're ready to go into that. So
Let's talk about one more spoiler, and we'll
You got
pocket
it.
Put it in the arsenal. Put it in the arsenal.
Put it in a pizza roll. All right.
Put it in the oven for like 5 minutes because we're going to talk about a card you might actually like. Because you know every other card I said was your favorite card, but this actually might be your favorite card that's been spoiled so
More
far.
garbage.
Listen.
Listen.
No, Quicksilver Dagger.
Oh.
Quicksilver Dagger. Once per turn action. First of all, it's a warrior dagger. Haven't
Yep.
seen that yet. One-handed dagger. Once per turn action attack, it has one attack, and then says if another weapon you control has gained go again this turn, Quicksilver Dagger also has go again. Mm-hmm. And it looks really cool. I like it.
And that's
It's in the next armory kit.
Does it have the promo icon on it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
the cold foil from the next armory
Yep.
kit.
Okay.
So, tell me your thoughts, warrior player.
We are gonna give it an A-.
A-.
I do
We got
not think
something.
it's broken. I don't think it completely. This changes everything. No, it's not that. But
You heard it here first.
Yes.
It changes everything.
That's why I said cream cheese spreader. But what I
It does
do
kinda
think,
look like a
I'll
butternut.
go into depth of my little opinion on it.
Cheese spreader.
Yeah, thank you for your support. So we were talking about earlier how a lot of the FFS cards are for Kasai.
Yep.
And that might be because it's a supplement set that usually caters to Blitz heroes, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
But this allows Dorinthia to dual wield to great effect. I know you can do sabers, but the problem with that is if you do sabers on Dorinthia, you're swinging and you have to give it go again.
Yep.
You're swinging in, you have to give it go again. And if you don't, you're just swinging twice for a buttload of resources and you're not really doing anything. If you hit
Yeah.
twice, you're not getting...
They should have also given it overpower.
Oh, yeah.
Give everything overpower.
But you're not farming... is it Dawn counters or Dawn tokens? Dawn...
What is it? I think it's just +1 counter.
Okay, but
On
you're not getting
Dawnblade.
those.
Yeah.
So dual wielding with Dorinthia never really seemed good. I've never tried it though, so that's just my personal
Axis
thing.
Dory was kind of like okay. I mean,
Right.
It was a grindy deck more than anything. You abuse the boots. You abuse Valen Dynamo.
But again, even with the axes, you need go again, and then you need go again. So there's that. With the dagger, you can set up very consistent plays with amazing cards that cost 0, which is always a good combo. Amazing for 0. But you can swing in with Centauri Saber, and there's a million go again cards that you can either attack react with or just give it from the get go. You can swing naked, and your opponent has to go. Is he going to? Is he? You're not swinging naked. Okay.
I'm laughing
You're wearing
at Ben.
I didn't see that.
So
That story's better than normal Dory at the time, but when?
But both sucked.
But what does he mean by normal or at the time?
So at the time, when was that? That was probably during.
Crucible? Or?
No, I think that was during Starvo meta. I think people were starting to kind of mess with it during Starvo meta because you could block out Starvo with a bunch of D-reacts and you would just swing the axes a bunch of times trying to get... the deck was like all D-reacts, like a lot of it. And
I mean, that makes sense.
It was like D-reacts and go again. So you would go again the sabers or the axes.
Okay.
And then... you would go again the axes, and then you would use the boots plus a D-react to get underneath the... I guess, like, not underneath, but you would get out from under the, like, crippling crushes and things like that, so...
Okay.
But either way.
Yeah. But with the dagger, you swing, you can give it with, like, Blade Runner +3 and go again. So then your dagger is starting out with go again, because of the passive ability it has, or not passive, like the triggered ability. So it already has 4, and then there's a bunch of 0 cost cards that can push it up by 3. You have push forward, which gives it dominate and +3. You can really ramp it up for 0 to 1 cost. So you're like swinging in for 2, swinging in for 10, because that just takes just a few cards that all cost 0, or you have something in Arsenal. And then you already have go again without having to do anything.
Yep.
Take a counter off Dynamo Boots, which now in CC you may save 4 or 5 health over the course
we're
of the
finally
game.
in a slower meta, except FaB, but for everything else, you're in pretty much a slower meta.
And then you still have go again, so you can play Snatch, you can play Enlightened Strike, you can play, I don't know if there's going to be another generic attack action for Dynasty.
Yep.
And it's a big deal when you're hitting for 2, hitting for like 9 or 10, and then you're like, and now I have Snatch, and you can't block Snatch with 1.
Nope.
Because it's at the 4. Enlightened Strike's coming in for 7.
Yep.
I think it allows Dory to do those kind of wide plays with very little effort. Whereas right now, if you're like, okay, swinging in with Dawnblade, and I want to get go again, they just block you out.
It makes swinging with weapons 3 times that much more possible. Yeah, I totally agree.
I think it's much needed to not... Because, Dorinthia is just one of those characters where if you play a new to average player, she usually just dumpsters
every
them
time
because they can handle it.
Dory will wreck new players at armories every single time. They get... I don't know if flustered is the right word, but there's so much going on, and the way she doesn't play face up.
Right.
Like everything's from her hand, and so a lot of times you'll swing Dawnblade with nothing going on. I mean, this is just traditional warrior, like not talking about dagger or whatever.
Right,
but you'll swing Dawnblade with nothing going on, and then you're like Dawnblade, and they're like, okay, no blocks. I was told never block a naked Dawnblade.
The state of the field doesn't show everything that's going on with the Dorinthia player, whereas most things, it's just like read the cards, but all this is being hidden from the opposing player.
Correct.
So for a new player, it's very hard for them to grasp that, whereas if I was to play against you or Nick or Alex, you've all played Warriors and Dorinthia, you can kind of see what's coming, and if you know how to shut down Go Again or getting the Dorinthia ability, you know how to shut it off, and then you're just like, I guess my turn's over, pass.
Yep.
This, I think, adds a much-needed layer to Dorinthia's game plan. Will it be busted? No. I just think...
We don't know.
Well,
it really will. It just really depends on what we get, right? We could get things that say, like, I don't know, something like an endless arrow type effect. Not that it would bounce your hand, but that, like, when you hit with daggers, you can hit, like, again with... your dagger. The first time,
there could definitely be cards,
something like that. So,
and thankfully, and this kind of goes back to the axe. You have attacks like Razor Reflex that work on daggers and swords. Does not work on axes. I also, and has nothing to do with the game, to be honest, but the idea of having a sword and then like an offhand dagger. At one point, I thought they were going to do maybe like a pirate or corsair class that they would have that sort of fighting style.
Yep.
But it does go back to warriors, the role play of warriors having different fighting styles, and
I think that's really cool too. Like a lot of times, like I think the class fantasy of warriors, like gearing out your character.
Yeah.
Like warriors in tradition, like even just like let's go to the most known one. I think is probably World of Warcraft. Warriors, especially like let's say classic WoW, which I think a lot of the LSS devs take a lot of their inspiration from. Honestly, it just fits a lot of that stuff. So anyway, what I'm saying is like classic WoW had specializations for like Axe's warrior, swords warrior,
back in the day.
So like Axe's specialization, sword specialization, things like that. And I think that's kind of what they're leaning towards is having like different warrior specs.
Yeah,
kind of like based on axes, swords, daggers, whatever. Let's go to what Nick said. So if Dory ability triggers on the dagger, then both dagger attacks would have go again, which is cute. Dory doesn't give go again. Right? No.
it allows you to swing
No, you
an
need go
additional
again.
time.
Yeah. So if Dory ability triggers on the dagger, then both daggers attacks would have go again, which is cute. Unless we're talking about young Dory, or like the new young Dory. I don't remember what her ability is exactly.
Well, she has to use Dawnblade Resplendent.
Oh, okay.
Like it specifically says she has to use that.
Gotcha.
My only thing, which I looked back on it, Courage of Blade Hold only works on swords.
No, yeah, that's been there was a argument for axes at one point, and then people had to be like, no, it doesn't work on the axes. Right. So, yeah, that only works on swords. So, I think that's it for spoilers. I think that's all we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So good weapon. Looking forward to like if daggers get their own special things or whatever, but.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, we have, like, the Imperial Warhorn, which was spoiled a long time ago. The Crown of Dominion, which makes your hero royal, gives you a gold token, which could be cool. We did get Predatory Streak, but, like...
Oh, I see what Nick's saying. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that is cool. So, just constantly has go again, right? So, yeah. Predatory Streak is just a ninja action that says create 3 Crouching Tigers in your Banish Zone. You may play them this turn. Until we know what a Crouching Tiger is.
That's the other armory?
Oh, yeah, that's the actual, not the cold foil, but the armory extended art. It looks great. Like most other things, it looks really cool. It's a guy getting punched like into the sky. But again, until we know what a Crouching Tiger is,
right.
I don't know the point of talking about it. So, unless you want to speculate, like, oh, it's a Phoenix Flame.
I don't know. I mean, I know, I'm pretty sure, and I don't care about the movie, but I think Crouching Tiger is like a type of fighting stance, like a defensive.
It is an actual
stance.
thing. It predates, I think it's a proverb, actually.
Yeah.
But it predates the movie, of course.
And that card itself is a defense reaction? Or what is it? The card you were just...
The name of it?
The card that generates Crouching Tiger.
It's what is it? Predatory Streak.
And what kind of card is it?
It's just an action. It's not an attack. So it just makes them. And Nick's got a good point. If it is something like a Phoenix Flame that's like creates 3 attacks out of nowhere, it threatens Mask a lot easier. But like again, we don't know that, and it could say like it could be a 0 most of the time, and then like if it's chain like 3 or higher, gain +1.
Yeah.
But we don't know. So. We're just going to move on from that. So that's spoilers. Who's excited for Dynasty? I want more spoilers.
Yay, woo. What are we, 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
We are. So spoiler season officially starts on the 31st. So we are 7, 8, 9 days away.
That's okay.
No, I'm silly. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days away. Okay. I guess I can just do math. 19 plus 12
I'm
is 31.
hoping everything's spoiled by the time we get to Worlds. Or I hope they spoil stuff at Worlds if they haven't. But I mean, that's only 1 week before the actual the release. But
yeah, so I think by the time we get to Worlds, everything that they're going to spoil will have been spoiled, and we'll probably see someone will get a box opening. I think every time. Loving the mech stuff. Can't wait. Yeah, I definitely agree. That's Brandalorian.
I don't even. Oh, I see.
So it's up here. So he's chatting on YouTube. This is just Twitch
that's
chat.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
okay.
So, But yeah, I think the mech stuff is the clear winner so far.
Yep.
I think there's not even a question to me.
Now, I don't think it was oh no, it was a spoiler. There was a card by Team Covenant that got rid of counters. Does that get rid of Steam counters? It was like a wizard card or something?
It gets no. Oh, you're thinking of SAP. So SAP it gets rid of energy counters, and so that's specifically 2 cards right now. That's Alluvian Constellus, which is the wizard chess piece from Uprising, and more importantly, that's the Spring Tunic, Fiendal Spring Tunic.
Okay.
People don't know this. They just think it's a tunic counter, but it's specifically an energy counter.
Oh, okay. Does it say that on the card? Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah,
that's
so,
interesting.
Fiendal Spring Tunics from the very beginning it says at the start of your turn put an energy counter on it. So, yeah.
Okay.
3 energy counters. You can spend all 3 to get a resource, and so SAP keeps them 1 turn away from that. 1 more turn away from that.
All right. Very cool. It's a lot of new mechanics and keywords and all that stuff coming. So.
That SAP is a new keyword. I forget what it's like. Surge, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah.
So Surge. And Surge is interesting. Maybe we can talk about this just for a minute. But Surge is interesting because it's a lot like Crush, but for wizards. But it always refers to the base power of the spell, right? So the red sap says deal 3 arcane damage to a hero, and then if this deals 3 or more damage to a hero, you may remove an energy counter from a permanent they control. And the yellow says deal 2. If it deals 2, then do that. And then blue says 1 if it deals 1. And that's kind of interesting because like there's a world where like blue sap is really good for the specific reason that like, do they want to spend the 1 resource to save the tunic counter? Right. It's also a blue. It blocks for 3. So I don't write off blue sap. I think it's actually really good. So especially because Surge brings it down to 1, so it just has to deal 1.
Yep.
So yeah. And I think that's it for spoilers. I think I wanted to, an hour and a half was my target. We can keep talking there if you're down. Maybe like another.
Did you want to do the tier list shenanigans?
Tier list shenanigans. We both
perfect. We agree.
We agree. Tier list.
I don't know if we're gonna do every hero, but has to
deal more than 1, 2, or 3. I thought I said if it deals 1. If it says deal, it does say deal more, so you have to buff it. But it's still like it would be coming in for 2. So that's a good point. I misread that. But yeah, so tier list. What are we doing with tier list? Are we making a tier list?
I mean, we can randomly just say what hero we think goes where, but I think it's more about a rant, kind of like what the Flute Box video was earlier.
So kind of expanding on that. Okay.
But every time, so here's my thing, and if this happens to sound like I'm talking about a specific content creator, apologies. Not apologies.
It's like that South Park.
Yeah,
every episode of South Park. If you've ever read the disclaimer at the beginning, this is based on fictional people. If you get offended, we're sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like content creators, they have their usual content. This is happening. This is releasing, and when they run out of ammo, they're like, "Well, it's been a week. Time to make a tier list." And they're like, this event happened this weekend, and I am solely basing my decisions on how they performed at the event. You have different players at an event. You have different texts that have been discovered. You have all this stuff, and it's like, so what's the point of making the tier list if next week another event's going to happen? There was a video where the Azalea won an event. I don't know what event it was.
She top 8'd, I thought. Did she actually win?
I don't think she won, but she did significantly better.
Yeah.
And they're like, so I think like she's not amazing, but that puts her in like B tier. And I'm like, Garbo, throw that but that's the thing. They're like, no, this opens new possibilities. And I'm like, you don't know who she played. You don't know if she got like a bye for a round. You don't know what happened. There's no context.
You don't know if so Azalea. All jokes aside, and I know Azalea gets shot on like all the time. If Azalea could specifically go against FaB every game and find red in the ledger by turn 2 or 3, and keep cycling it, she will have a good tournament.
Yeah.
As soon as something derails that plan, she is not very good. Her hit effects are definitely worse than Lexi's. Her damage output is definitely worse than every other aggro deck. She used to be kind of the hate deck, you know, like before Ice Lexi was the real hate deck, where like you can't do anything. Azalea was like the first one. You know, you hamstring shot, you have Red in the Ledger, things that like tax you, but it just isn't there. And then to see like, yeah, some very probably well-skilled pilot, someone who's very dedicated to the Azalea cult, was like, I'm going to take this deck to every tournament, and eventually hits the magic number of like seeing the FaB, seeing the no block Briars, and I can just cycle Red in the Ledger over and over and over again and make it to top 8, where I think they lost in the first round as soon as they hit Guardian. They got unlucky, so don't worry about chat right now.
Oh, no.
Oh, Brandon Lauren. I thought we were looking at Nick saying
No. I was seeing what Brandon Lauren
you could literally, so let's see. You could literally say that about any other hero too. If they hit their best cards and are consistent, they will do well. Yeah, I mean that goes with everything, right? So like, I mean that's not even just Flesh and Blood. That's like every card game ever, right? So
I seriously think that at least if I was to do a tier list, you look at their core mechanics, their hero abilities, their specializations, their options to abuse generic cards. And the thing is, you have characters like Azalea where there are turns where they go, well, pass. And then you have characters like FaB and Briar and some other heroes that consistently go in.
If it were me and I had time, and maybe I'll make this video and have someone edit it. Ryan, looking at you or whoever. But make this video and have someone edit it. Instead of a tier list, you would have almost like a fighting character's profile where it's like reach, projectiles, but it would be like consistency, damage output,
like
defensive, like a rating on each hero, as opposed to specifically like this hero is A tier, this hero is C tier.
Yeah, doing the letter tier thing limits the scope too much. What you were describing, they used to have like Marvel superhero cards, and it's like the Punisher, and it's like strength medium,
exactly.
But dexterity is.
And I think,
I get it.
I think what I'm saying actually fits like the theme of this game even more so too, because this game is very much based on like combat, right? And combat is very like, what's your, you know, when you're talking about combat, especially in an RPG setting like this is like a fantasy RPG setting, you would have like strength, dexterity, evasion, stats kind of thing. And I think ranking heroes in that way, who has the most damage output potential, who has the most defensive potential, who has the most consistent deck, who has the least consistent deck, things like that.
That's also probably what you just described is probably a better way for a new player to go, this caters more to my play style, so I'll pick that. When we get new players at the Haven, it all comes down to like, do you like control or do you like aggro?
Yeah.
And a lot of times they just come back with like, well, which one wins the most? And I'm like, that depends on who shows up. It depends on this whole thing.
And that's where Flesh and Blood really shines, but it's rough when someone comes from a game like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or even Pokemon, the big three. There's always clearly, in every meta, there's like a best deck. Now there's decks that beat that deck, typically. Yeah. But there's typically like you play this deck or you play these two decks, and then everything else is kind of fringe, right? Pokemon's very much like this. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very much like this. Magic is kind of like this, depending on the format and the time of day. Whereas Flesh and Blood, I mean, we were just kind of ragging on it, but look at that Azalea player. That Azalea player to top an event, which is a decent-sized event, I think it was someone's Nationals, had to be a very good player.
Right.
Now, and I'm just saying, like, I think Flesh and Blood more than, like, any of those card games, I think it truly rewards skill more than any card game that I've ever seen. So, MH Swag this stuff. Would love to see that. Also, best worst matchups for each hero. Yeah, I totally agree.
So, I don't know what they call it. Maybe you've seen it before, but in fighting games, they have like a rectangle. It's not a tier list. But they have a row of characters, and then the same row of characters, but vertical.
Oh, and it's like who counters what?
Yeah, there's like a line that goes down. I don't know what they call that, but like a matchup
it's like
graph
a matrix
or something. Yeah.
It's a matrix.
Even that would be better than just flat out going good, bad.
Yeah, like A tier, B tier, C tier,
Yeah.
shit tier.
Something. It happened a couple days ago. I think Alex and Nick were playing, and Alex was like, "James, what do you think of Dorinthia?" And it's just like I said, she's good.
Yep.
She's not breaking the meta, and she's not garbage.
Solid.
Yeah,
I like the word solid.
Yep, I would definitely say that. And again, I have my own personal gameplay experience with her. She has an advantage on players who rely on gameplay knowledge, as far as like what's being presented on the field. But you watch most videos and they're just like, no, she hasn't topped an event since 1955, so like D tier. And I'm like, just like that.
But who's playing it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's very little data or very, very little information, but I also think this isn't a flex by a mile, but like the last few armories we've had, I go like 3-1. Now here's the thing: I go up against an Icelander. It's just a hard match. Like there's nothing around.
There's
that.
good and bad matchups, and that's true with every card.
Which
game,
you need to have that.
No, yeah. If it was just like this deck wrecks everything, or this deck loses everything, then
then it's not fun. It's not a good gameplay. And I think you have to understand there are bad matchups. That doesn't mean the character is just unplayable. I think it's very disingenuous to tell it to a new player or even a player looking to change heroes.
Yep.
And the more people understand that, content creators included, like you'll get a better understanding of how it goes. Because at our locals, there's all sorts of heroes being played. There's brutes. I think our recent event we had like 4 brutes or something crazy like that.
It was a lot of brutes. We had like 2 Levi's and 2 Reinars show up or something like that. Or like 1 Levi and 3 Reinars, I think. And
typically, even the brutes are like, no, it's all based on luck and it's garbage. But then you see brutes play against like wizards or something, and they just, Donkey Kong slam them and
swing big.
So then they are good, aren't they? I mean, so yeah, tier lists are poo poo. I don't know. I don't like them very much.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, I don't, and especially I don't either. I will say this: they're content, and they are, for whatever reason, maybe it's something in our brains. People like lists. It's like a thing.
Easy to digest.
It's like a true thing. It's like that's why they get all the views. That's why people continue to make them. That's why people continue to watch them. It's to me, it's like it's the gameplay equivalent of box opening videos. Mm-hmm. So like where box opening videos for like a collector or whoever is like low hanging fruit, especially if you're doing a box opening like 2 months after a set releases, I will watch like 1 or 2 box opening videos typically, like when a set comes out, to see like, oh, what's like the rarity spread, what can I expect out of this, like, oh, it's cool seeing new cards get opened. But then like it's
sorry, I was thinking about the box videos, and I'm sure I'm nailing a bunch of people on this one. It's the box videos where in the title it's like, I pulled this legend, come watch. And I think half the box opening is waiting to see if they get something good. But when the title is literally like,
my favorite's when they hold the card out like this. So this will be the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
And then like it's like pixelated, but you can clearly tell what card it is.
Yeah.
And I was watching something about YouTube where it's like they know that. And like it's like they know they're showing the card and they know everyone else knows what the card is. But something about it being blurred, it's like a psychological thing. And it makes them like click through more. But it's still just like so silly to me. It's like the silliest thing.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
But anyway, let's see what low representation is a thing too. If a low amount of players are on a hero, then the conversion rate will definitely not be in its favor. That all depends. When you're talking about rate, if there's a low amount of players playing the deck, and like let's say there's like 5 Dorinthias in a room of 800 people, and 2 of them make top 8.
Okay.
Then that conversion rate is sky high. Now, let's say 800 people, there's 25% of the room is FaB, so that's what, 200 people? Yeah, 200 people. And 2 of them make it, same amount, but that's 2 out of 200 as opposed to 2 out of 5. So it just depends. Even if 1 out of 5 Dorinthias like made it, that's still like 20% versus, less than 1% of like all the other FaBs. So yeah, like representation. I think conversion rates are a very good thing to look at, but you do have to consider how many people are playing, who's playing it. I think Flesh and Blood more than any other card game definitely rewards player skill and familiarity, not only with your deck, but what another deck wants to do. So, yeah, tier list. We should make a tier list now.
All right.
Not like right now. What I mean, like we should have
coming up.
Yeah, we should have a tier list just because we shot on tier list like for the last 15 minutes.
Sure, but the big difference is we will try or we will attempt to have sufficient, or we could just put the scope down to like at our locals. This is kind of how
our tier list.
Yeah, our
at specifically the Haven Games.
If you were in Central
Castleberry, Florida.
Yeah.
This is our tier list. We run these heroes, and we see that obviously.
Although to be honest, you see these. I don't know if they're nationals or callings that are in other countries, and theirs are completely different than ours. So over there, they might be like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Right, exactly. And we definitely saw that. We saw early on there was this joke that North Americans don't block because we just played aggro decks into each other, and then of course in New Zealand and other parts of the world, they were seeing way more blocking.
Yeah.
And Nick, that is a great April 1st video that I will make. I will mark it, clip it. I will make a UPF tier list.
But I want to play it first.
No,
we're not playing it first? No?
That's not in the spirit of what we're talking about. We need to not play it, not understand the format, not understand the heroes, and then we make a tier list saying Yoji is B tier.
That's fair. That's fair. Can we play after?
Yes.
I've never played
Based on that tier list.
I've never played it. Every time I pull Chain Lightning, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's like hit two. I just want to do that to like everybody in my little group. As a wizard, I'm sure I'll get.
Oh, you're talking about Forked Lightning. I was talking about Chain Lightning is even cooler too because it hits everyone at the table.
Oh, it's just flat out everyone. Okay. Oh, that's right. Forked Lightning is two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the funny thing is you can play like the Chain Mentor, and it says like deal 1 arcane to everyone at the table.
Is that the head?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen someone play it. I've never seen someone play it. So.
There was jokes around playing it in Blitz because you could target yourself with it to like keep, or you can like hit yourself with arcane so that you can keep your creepers around.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Sounds very chain-like, but
so
very Runeblade-ish.
let's say we got about, I would say 19 more minutes.
All right.
Sounds good. 2 hours good.
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll start earlier next time.
All right.
We'll have a set time.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah.
All right. So Worlds.
Yep.
We're going to Worlds. See you there. That's the topic. Moving on. Just kidding.
6.5 hour flight.
It's not 6.5. It's just 6.
It's 8.5.
It's 6. But I'm excited for Worlds. I'm really excited to see what kind of artists will be there.
So I feel like
playing in the calling.
There was like 3 or 4 different callings, including the Orlando one.
Yep.
Was that last December?
That was Nats last year. Was the Orlando?
Oh, okay.
Calling. Yeah.
Something always came up, and I could not make it, or the prices were just too insane.
Yep.
We were building the store, so this is my first event, I guess you could call it. So I'm very excited about that. Like you were saying, the artists, I'm assuming they have their own booths or something.
Yeah,
like
so
that?
they each artist that decides to show. We actually, we can keep talking, but they put out a list of everyone who's going.
Okay.
Like in terms of like names in the community. Now my name's not on there. Mm-hmm. Your name's not on there.
No.
I think we're prevalent in the community. There's people watching us now. Where's our names, LSS?
Ooh. That's quite a number. I wasn't even paying attention to that.
And that doesn't include YouTube. Well, that's just Twitch.
We'll just have to keep making content, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I remember you telling me that Ryan got these like metal art pieces or something like that.
Yeah, he got those from Steve Argyle. So Steve Argyle, he did Kyloria and a bunch of the other dragons. He did Dominia. Mm-hmm. He did Icelander's Everfest art. He had these metal prints that are super cool. Ryan finally got them. They are beautiful because they're on metal. The like, I want to say foiling, but it's obviously not foiling. It's just the metallic comes through the art.
Yeah.
And it's just on Dominia. The coloring is very cool. On Kyloria, well, he didn't get Kyloria, but on I think he got Icelander. The Everfest Icelander, the blue just shines so well through it.
Okay. And they could ship that? They could ship that to your house? Like, do they have like a shipping center or something? So.
What are you doing with that Premier Ball? That's a Premier Ball, right?
Premier Ball? I don't know. This is a.
So you know how you get that in the game?
No.
You buy 10 Pokeballs, you get a Premier Ball.
Oh, let's do it. All right.
It has no other effect besides a Premier Ball, or besides being a regular
I don't want
Pokeball.
it done. Go away.
No, it's trash. It just looks cool when you send the Pokemon out.
I'll put Yoji promos in there. So yeah, there's the artist booths. I definitely want to meet. Alan is the OP manager.
Yeah, so I met Alan at the Pro Tour 1 in New Jersey, and he is the nicest, coolest dude to talk to. He was really instrumental in us setting up our first set of locals down here. He was that OP manager for that, and Alan Hale, and he's the shit. Honestly, like he's the dude, man. He's like,
well, I'm assuming,
and he was willing to talk to us. He sat down at a table with us and just talked to us for like 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm assuming most of the for this first Worlds. And it's the 3rd year anniversary. I forgot when.
This is number 3. It was October 9th. Don't quote me.
Oh, okay.
It was October. I want to say it just happened. So I think it was October 9th. And LSS put out that little really cute video of like them like showing the team and how it grew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm just looking forward to meeting some or all of the dev team. Obviously James White, and I also wanted. I'm not doing the calling or the big events, but I want to. Farm tickets to get like a playmat or something cool to take home.
I think the prize wall will be stacked. It has to be. I'm super excited to see the prize wall because the prize wall at Nats this year. I don't want to be negative, but it was kind of lacking. There wasn't like super anything exciting. It didn't have the uncut sheets. It did have some banners, but as we know, we can print those banners ourselves. Yeah. So they do provide that, so you can just go to FedEx and print those yourselves. But there was some cool stuff. I mean, we had the cold foil frostbite token that we were able to get for Ryan. It has some cool stuff, and I'll pay any amount for a cold foil rune chant. So James White did on Twitter. He alluded that there's gonna be a cold foil rune chant there, which will look amazing. But I'm hoping to see like some cool uncut sheets because I have 2 uncut sheets. Not to like. I have 2 uncut sheets.
You can flex that to the moon, sure.
But they are probably like some of my favorite flesh and blood memorabilia that I own, and they have a cool story. We worked together to get them for me as a group.
Yeah, I remember you had like pictures of.
Yeah, and it was me together. And Nick, who's in the chat, holding up our uncut sheets, and it's just one of the coolest experiences I ever had.
So let's say you wanted a cold foil rune chant, kind of like the frostbite. Is that difficult? Is it like a ton of tickets, or?
So I want to say it was 800 tickets, and I think if you're selling your tickets, just for an idea, I think they typically sell, depending on when and how in demand the tickets are, between. It's not early on, so it used to be 50 cents a ticket. That was like really expensive, but they're between about 20 and 30 cents a ticket. So if you're looking at 800 tickets, you're looking at about a $200 card.
Okay.
In terms of like if you were just buying it outright from people buying tickets. But if you're like decent enough, it's not hyper competitive at the side events typically. Usually people are joking around having fun. People are grinding tickets, but if you just keep grinding tickets, you'll get stuff.
So there's those events, the art booths, meeting the dev team. Especially at Worlds, I hope there's some like amazing announcements.
I can't. It's the first Worlds, and if it's anything like again, I come from other card games too. Pokemon always use Worlds as like their big like here's the next year's big mechanic, here's next year's like here's a spoiler for a mechanic that's way down the line. You're just like, we're gonna announce all this stuff, and I hope LSS does some of that because I think Worlds will have a lot of eyes on it. It's Worlds, just the name Worlds, like always.
Yeah,
people from other games will watch.
Right, and one thing I'm especially thankful for is that they did Worlds in America. I mean, that makes it easy for us. I would have assumed it would have been in New Zealand, just because that's where they, developed it and all that. I showed you earlier, like, so Final Fantasy just announced their Worlds next year.
Okay.
It's in Japan. Thing is, while it's cool that if you qualify, you do get tickets for that, there are usually people who want to bring someone with them or something, and that's not cheap. That's not easy. Or if you wanted to attend Worlds anyway. So for it to be here in America, like, since we're in America, like I'm thankful that they.
I was looking for
what they wrote.
the list of everyone who's coming, but it's a bunch of artists, a bunch of cosplayers, and a bunch of like, oh, the Tolarian Community College is going to be there. You know,
That's right.
He's been pumping the game a lot and to its benefit.
Well, kind of like what Bronson touched on in his video. Which who we're going with.
We are going.
I think there are a lot of players that are really finally feeling the burn from...
Feeling the burn.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
From Magic's just like...
I think...
Here's a new product, it's $1,000 and it's proxy.
I was going to say, I think it's like for so long... It's eerily close to the WoW Final Fantasy 14 thing that happened.
I see.
So it would be like people who played Final Fantasy 14 would know it's good for so long. They would be like, this game's good, I just like it. And while that's happening, so many other games would come out and say like, this is going to kill WoW. This is the WoW killer. Aeon Online or whatever.
Oh my god, Aeon.
Aeon. I don't know. There were so many. What was a good one?
What was the space WoW game you were telling me
That's the one
about?
I'm trying to think of. I can't remember its name right now.
WildStar.
WildStar's coming out. That's the best. That's gonna be the WoW killer. Where really, what was the WoW killer in the end? What has been driving WoW sales down?
No, it was definitely 14.
WoW.
Now, A Realm Reborn.
What I'm saying is.
Oh, you mean WoW backfiring as far as
what's affecting WoW sales the most? And I would say it's WoW itself.
Yeah.
I would say WoW's decline in
I think
in quality and pushing players to spend as much money as possible on things that don't matter and inconvenient things. And what I'm saying is my metaphor here is that it's very similar to Magic and Flesh and Blood, where Magic is, everything was coming out. It's like, this is a better Magic. This is a better Force of Will. It's Magic, but better. It has better mechanics. It fixes the land problem. Final Fantasy TCG would come out and say it's better, fixes the land problem, has, you don't get mana screwed, you don't get mana flooded. But really nothing like hit WoW, or hit Magic as much as what I see Magic doing now to itself, which is just pushing players to spend as much money as possible, pushing out sets that aren't as good, pushing out things to just get them to spend money, just spend.
Yeah.
And it just feels like Flesh and Blood's been here the whole time, just like the last 3 years, just being like, I'm just making a good game, and I hope people play it.
Well, I think before Flesh and Blood, or even with WoW, you could say the same thing, is that people were always pitting, like you said, one game against another, but... I think for a while people were like, well, I'll just still play WoW because I have nowhere else to go.
Yep.
When they really amped up the advertising for A Realm Reborn or Heaven's Word,
It was like Heaven's Word, I think.
But not 1.0, essentially.
No, not 1.0.
That wasn't a good...
That's like our Starvo meta.
Yeah.
Just let's forget about it.
But once you have a really good option, there's that. Yeah. We've already seen it at the shop where people are like... they were supposed to do Baldur's Gate, it was supposed to be an Amazing Commander set, and they screwed us. And then they did this set and screwed us. And now there's Unfinity, and that's a joke. Intentional or not, it's still a waste of people's money and time. Then it's like, and now we're doing the 30th anniversary. And have you seen the video of like the two main Hasbro people like saying to reward our after 30 years? And
so. You have to be careful.
They used it to promote their game, and they tweeted it, and you could see all the responses on the tweet. It's just
I think so people I saw like a live meltdown on Twitter. So real talk, somebody they announced the cards and people were like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then like the very next...
Are you talking about the reprints?
The reprints,
okay.
The $1,000 set.
Yep.
They announced the cards, they have the cards shown, and they're like, holy shit, this is awesome, I'm so excited for it. And then like, literally the next tweet was like, are you kidding me, $1,000?
See, I wouldn't be so direct about it, but like, especially with how crazy things are right now.
Inflation, people are trying to make it.
To casually just tell people $1,000, oh, and by the way, you can't support your local store for it. You have to get it directly from us.
Well, hold on. The store gets a box.
Yes.
The local store. So if you're a WPN store, you get 1 box. If you're a WPN Premier store, you get 3 boxes.
3 boxes, that's right.
Holy shit.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. It's wild to me.
like,
and then,
for your local scene, are you bringing players together for this? No, it's one guy. He buys it, or gal. Buys it.
They.
Sure. Puts it in their attic for
it.
5 years and then flips it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see someone cracking and going, I'm experiencing and appreciating the heritage and history of 30. I don't know. Either way, I am seeing a lot more players go, I've heard of Flesh and Blood, but I was playing Magic at the time, or I don't have the funds. And now they're jumping into Flesh and Blood. We're still doing the Ira tutorial deck. I don't know if it's called a tutorial deck, but that's basically what we use it for. And I know Matt at the store, he made a bunch of pre-constructed decks for like Dorinthia, Dash, all that.
Yep.
And we go, you want a gun? And they're like, I love guns. And we're like, all right, here's Dash. Unless you want to use Talishar, like, here's Dash. And, and the game is really deep, but I don't think it's incredibly hard to learn to get the basics down. So it's a great time to get into Flesh and Blood. So,
well,
he was asking if Flesh and Blood's new.
He's trolling.
Is he? Fantastic. For a moment, I got excited. I was like, hey, we got a new person.
We got a new
Flesh and Blood.
No. No, I think
that's the thing. I don't.
Yeah, that's Steven.
Steven.
My friend Steven.
Oh, from like the okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Big Yoshi.
Big Yoshi.
Are we close enough?
Yeah,
so we
close
got ranting and all that in, but
So you ready for this? Weekly. Weekly. This.
Nah.
You had fun.
Hold on.
We'll make a time.
No, I don't want times. I just want to be like, you know what? I'm in the mood. I'm not hungry. Let's stream it. I hope everyone who's watching enjoyed it. But like, we do this stuff all the time. Like when we're not recording, when we go out to eat, when we do this, when we're at our locals and everyone's jumping in with their opinions.
Hey, thanks for the follow. Dude. Thank you, Benjamin.
We do this all the time, and we're always like, we should record this, or we should see what people feel. How other people feel.
I'm
I'm really up for this.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we were recording the podcast, and I said, you know what, I think this would be a really good live show. No one's really doing live shows like this. I'm kind of Team Covenant, but we want to just have a weekly show where it's mostly Flesh and Blood, but it's going to be TCGs and other stuff we just want to talk about. Yep. And
pretty much what we're into. I know, not to drag us out any further, but I know there are some content creators. They cover a wide spread of games. Even some they're not really into, but it's just kind of like making it appeal to everyone. We are not going to make it appeal to everyone. We are going to make it appeal to games we truly cherish and play and want others to get a taste of it and all that. So,
and it won't always just be us, doing the talking head thing, just like two people talking. We'll always be talking, but we'll do some gameplay. We'll do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
We'll maybe do some kind of communities outreach stuff. And I definitely want to have live call-ins. That was something I was talking about. I think it'd be cool to have a Discord open, and if you guys want to ask something live on chat when we feel comfortable with you, maybe if someone long-time viewers, things like that. So
right, yeah.
And I think it'd be really cool. So this was our kind of alpha episode, and
it'll be worth big money.
Yeah, you gotta. Is NFT still a dirty word? You got to NFT the whole episode. I don't know. I don't know how you do that.
We can only give it to one person, but
you got to NFT the whole episode, and it'll be worth a lot because it's the alpha cold foil copy.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Anyway, that being said, shop thehaventabletop.com. Save 10% on Flesh and Blood singles using Team ACG in that, as you see on screen. And other than that, that's all I have to say. And I just want to say it was a lot of fun. I'm excited to do this in the future.
Yes, we'll see you next time, and appreciate everyone tuning in.